Alright guys, I am live. YouTube says I am live, so I must be live. Welcome in. Welcome in. This is Hanging with Dave. What is this? Episode 47 this week. Imagine that, huh? 47 weeks of hanging out with me. Welcome in. This is a little talk show, a little live show that I do every weekend. Pretty much I answer any comments, questions, concerns that come through chat. I also go through the comments and questions that's been left on my videos for the last week or so. If you're new around here, I normally do it at 11 a.m. This week I had to work my full-time job today, so I'm doing it at 5 p.m. There's quite a few disclaimers I want to throw out there. First and foremost, I do enjoy me a cold Budweiser while I do the show, so cheers to y'all. I hope y'all is enjoying your weekend. And I am a truck driver by trade, so you may hear a dirty word or a wordy word. We'll see what, I try to keep that to the minimum, but we'll see what happens. Sorry about that, guys. I had to check my phone real quick there. But, I'll try to keep the cussing or the foul language to a minimum. If the cussing or the foul language ain't quite up to your par, or you really don't like it, maybe this ain't the right stream for you. I just want to throw that out front. When it comes to these questions and comments that I get on my videos, especially when it comes to overclocking, a lot of people say, hey, I got this system, I got these ports, what can I overclock to? I don't know. Everybody's silicon lottery and how good the ports is going to perform is, it's completely up to the silicon lottery. I may have the same components. They may overclock better. They may not overclock as well as what yours does. So, so keep that in mind. I try to answer the questions the best I can with the information I'm given. If you have questions about, hey, my computer's doing this, my computer's doing that, it depends on the information you give me. Hi, Dave. Been working today? Yeah, I worked today from, I was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. Ended up starting about 5:15, and I worked till about 2:30 this afternoon. 2:15, I think I got off. So, yeah, and they didn't tell me that they even needed me today till Tuesday or Wednesday, so I didn't mention it in last week's live stream. I ended up working almost 8 hours today, or a little better than 8 hours today. So I made a little bit of extra ching for the pocket. It was all overtime. That wasn't too bad. But I'd rather have been doing this at 11 a.m. instead of what I was doing at my full-time job at 11 a.m. But, that's a conversation for another day, right? Also, as far as the beers go, like I just said, I've been off since 2 o'clock or 2:30, so I've had quite a few beers already, so this may be a little bit more interesting show than normal. Keeps you out of trouble anyway. Yes, it does. It keeps me out of trouble. It definitely does. I try not to get into trouble, but it happens from time to time. But I try not to get in too much trouble. Let's see here. Where was I with my disclaimers? I know there's quite a few of them that I normally throw. I did the alcohol. I did the foul language. If you're just joining me, there may be some foul language. There is some alcohol drinking involved. Pretty much I go down through the comments, questions, concerns, through chat, or through the comments here. So I try to keep everything tech related. Sometimes I get off on a tangent or something, but I try to keep everything tech related. So let's get this thing started here today. I self-promoted for quite a while now here, 4 minutes in, and that's enough self-promotion. So let me flip you over here to the screen and we'll start going through these comments. Alright, and one other comment. Or one other disclaimer I gotta put out there. I'm not very good with the English language, let alone some of these YouTube handles. So if I butcher your name, I'm very sorry. I apologize up front. I do my best to pronunciate them. You know, sometimes it don't work out too well, but I try. And with that being said, I also want to thank you all for the support. You know, just by watching my videos, by leaving the comments, the likes, the shares, and all that. And it means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Cheers to y'all that do that. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get into these comments and questions, and we'll see what we got here this week. We have, starting out down here at the very bottom, 1 week ago, we have Wally Ayush, I guess is the way you pronounce that. How to dedicate more RAM to your integrated graphics. What a genius. I just searched and searched how in the world I could increase my VRAM for the Athlon 3000G for games, and you helped me. I'm going to like and sub. Please just don't give up and keep uploading. We have a nice day, sir. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad you found the video, and welcome to the community I'm trying to build here. Appreciate it. This next one here, I wouldn't even know how to even start to pronounce this. So I'm not even going to try because I know I would butcher it. How to overclock the Ryzen 5 2400G on the Gigabyte B450DS3H port 3. I can overclock the i5 10400F on the same motherboard. Yanzi, I guess the way you pronounce that, came back and replied, no, this CPU is locked and the motherboard does not support Intel CPUs, which is correct. I want to thank Yancy, I guess the way you pronounce that, boy, I'm going to pronounce it, for trying to help out on that question. That is an AM4 motherboard, and you have an Intel chip, they ain't compatible. And apparently something's going on with my camera here. So let's see what's going on with that. I don't know why it's doing that. Technical difficulties, you gotta love it. Let's see here. How's that? Let's let me get it set up here so I can see what's going on here. Get me refocused. Alright, looks like the camera's back. Maybe I'm in focus. There we go. Looks like I'm in focus. Sorry about that, guys. You gotta love live streaming, right? You get to see all of the stuff live, all the magic. It ain't like I edit a video where you can edit all this stuff out. But that's alright, I enjoy it. Yeah, but you're asking about the i5 10400F. It ain't compatible with this motherboard. You have to go with a Intel motherboard with the 1200 socket to be able to even have that 10400F to be able to work right. AM4 don't support them chips. Alright, next on our hit list, we got me. I must have asked this question. It said that the name's me, so it must be me, right? I thought updating the BIOS was rocket science, but now it's easy. That was on how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450DS3H motherboard. Back in the day when I got in the computer, it was a lot harder to update the BIOS than what it is now. But yeah, right now it's pretty easy. It's pretty well plug and play. It's pretty hard to mess up actually, but it's a lot easier than what it used to be. It used to be rocket science. Hello, how you doing? Glad you found the stream. Welcome in. Glad you could join me. Hey Dave, with the Ryzen 3 to 3600 pair well with the unreleased 3060 Ti. I'm not too sure on that one. The 3060 Ti, you know, a lot of people have been asking about the 3070. I'm hoping to get a hold of one of those. You know, the 3070 is supposed to have 2080 Ti performance. You're looking at probably 2080 performance, or maybe 2070 performance. If it's down in the 2070 Super range, your 3600 I believe will do well with that. But it's hard to really tell till it's released and the benchmarks come out. I'm actually hoping to get my hands on the 3070 when it releases to do some testing on it, which will give me a better idea of you know, what the 3060 Ti performance is going to be. For 1080p gaming. For 1080p gaming, 3060 Ti, I think it'll do a wonderful job. I mean, like I said, it's going to be 2070 Super performance. For 1080p gaming, it's going to be actually overkill. But if you're looking for a high refresh rate 1080p gaming, I think you won't be able to go wrong for it. I believe that 3060 Ti is going to be kind of focused or more based for 1440p gaming. I believe you'll do great with that. As far as that 3600, like I said, you know, you gotta wait till the reviews come out and see what kind of performance comes out on it. I've got the Gigabyte B450MH and a Ryzen 3600 with the 2060 Ti. Am I getting hell? I'm getting hell of blue screens of death. You got the B450M and the 3600. You're getting blue screens of death with the RTX 2060. Blue screens of death can happen because of multiple reasons. I mean, you could have a bad motherboard, you could have a bad CPU, it could be your operating system, it could be software related. If you got a spare hard drive or something, or if you have something on the system that ain't important to you, you know, reinstall Windows, make sure it ain't a software problem. Blue screen of death could happen, like I said, you know, it could be a lot of different things could be causing the blue screen of death. It's kind of hard to narrow it down without a little bit of diagnostics. You know, as far as seeing if it's a hardware problem or if it's a software problem. If you went in and tried any kind of RAM overclocking or any kind of CPU overclocking, that could be causing it. You know, a lot of things could be causing that, be a blue screen of death. Hey Dave, I picked up a 742 gig DDR5 OC for a budget build for $20. Is it worth it? A 742 gig. You're going back quite a while on a 740 and a 2 gig card. I mean, back in the day, the 2 gig was enough for gaming. For $30, you're talking US dollars for $30. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at $30. You can't expect a whole lot for $30, especially with the way the used market is right now. You know, I tested on some 1080p gaming, see what it'd do. But the 740, you're looking at probably 720p gaming. Depends on how much of a budget build you're actually looking at. Different hard disk, but it keeps happening. You got the Gigabyte B450M and the Ryzen 3600 with the 2600, and you've tried a different hard drive and it still keeps happening. Blue screen of death. I'm gonna say most likely it's gonna be your motherboard. You probably got a bad motherboard with that. And blue screen of death, and you've already tried a different hard drive, different operating system. It's gonna be hardware related. Your CPU and your GPU is gonna be the two main components of your system, but they're most likely not to fail. You know, your motherboard's gonna have a lot to do with that. My best guess would be, right off the top of my head, would be to try a different motherboard with it. I'd say your motherboard's going to be more likely if it's going to be a hardware problem. You know, I mean, if it's a new motherboard, you can always send it in for replacement or get a refund out of it, which would be a good help, you know. Well, you know, at least it would cover the expense of replacing your motherboard if you got a refund out of it or get another motherboard replaced to you. CPUs is very rarely, you know, within my years of doing this, it's very hard to find a bad CPU. Motherboard is more the culprit than it is the CPU side of things. The GPU, it possibly could be. I will tell you one other thing to try. You're running the RTX 2060. Make sure them drivers are up to date. The drivers have a lot to do with that. I would definitely try that before you go to any kind of expense of returning the motherboard or trying to swap out your motherboard. Make sure your drivers are completely up to date. I don't know exactly what 2060 you're running. Of course, the software for GPUs is kind of questionable time, so I'd definitely try a different driver set or updating them drivers. Greetings from Turkey. Well, welcome in. Glad you found the stream. Glad you came in and were able to hang out with me. Probably I will find another motherboard to try. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, you're more than welcome for the advice. That's why I'm here. You know, I know everybody's money's a little bit tight right now. You know, so I'll try to help everybody I can to save $1 or $2 as possible. But I'm glad you found me from Turkey there. Since my camera's working again now, it looks pretty good, I think. I think I'm pretty well in focus. Let's go back here to the comments. The i5-10400F, I done answered that one. Me, and now it ain't rocket science. Yep, I done answered that one. Very budget gamers. Yep, I understand being on a budget. It's one of the more everybody. The bad thing is about budget. Everybody thinks budget means cheap. Budget ain't a cheap thing. Budget is depending on what you can afford at the time. You know, everybody's got a different budget. You know, I could go out and drop $1,000 on a computer. Somebody else could think that that's way over budget. You know, they've only got a $300 budget or whatever. You know, budget is very subjective to compare to, depending on your lifestyle and what your financial situation is. You know, that's why I try to cover a wide range of stuff on here on the channel. You know, I got a little bit of comments on the $900 build, you know, that I put out a while back. That, you know, I need to focus more on the budget side of things, or the, you know, he said budget side of things. Depends on what your budget is. You know, that's why I try to cover a wide range, variety of things. You know, it's, you know, everybody's got their own budget. You know, some people's budget is $900 for a gaming computer. Some people can only afford $500 on a budget computer. You know, it all depends on your lifestyle and the money you got coming in and what you're willing to give up to be able to have a better gaming computer. You know, COVID got a bunch of people down. Yeah, it does. The pandemic going on in this world does have a lot of people down right now. You know, a lot of people, they probably, a year ago, they could probably afford a $1,000 computer. Now they're looking at a $600 computer because of this, you know. It just all depends on what you can afford at the time. And, you know, if you've seen my Welcome to Dave's Techway, you know, I've told you, you know, I focus on the budget side of things or the cheaper side of things, but I'll get into the high-end side of things as well. And that's why, you know, everybody's got different budgets depending on what you can afford. You know, my system's got way over budget. I mean, right here, for instance, you can still see it. I'm out of thermal paste right now. That's why it ain't installed in the system. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the 3950X. That's a $750 CPU. Now, am I saying that to brag? No. But luckily, I'm able to continue to work right now. I can afford something like that. And it's actually an investment into the channel for the video editing. You know, a lot of people can't afford that much money just for a computer altogether. So, you know, when you say budget, you know, it ain't always the cheapest side of things. It ain't always, you know, I try to focus it towards the best bang of the buck. It just all depends on what your budget really is. So you'll see things on the channel from, you know, like my 2070 Super. There's a $550 graphics card. I can build a complete 1080p gaming system for that kind of price. It depends on what your budget is. You know, I don't know. I try to keep it fair. I try to keep it across the board. I try to, you know, cover both aspects of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, guys, hit me up in chat if you think I'm wrong on doing what I'm doing on the channel. You know, I try to cover both ends of the spectrum, you know, depending on what your budget is. You know, I try to give you advice for what your budget actually is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I try to do. You know, so I do the $500 to $600 builds. I also do the higher end builds, you know. But I don't go way extreme either. You know, I'm looking at $1,000, maybe $1,500 computer builds. You know, I mean, you know, I try to keep it within region what most people are going to be looking for. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, you know, you guys drop in the comments below or drop it over there in chat. Either way, let me know what you think about what I do, you know. You know, I've got some comments, you know, people would rather see me stay on the more of the budget side of things. I'm assuming they're meaning the cheaper side of things. So, you know, that's why the $600 build's coming up here on the channel. That's why I put out the $600 port list, you know, because that's more like what most people can afford. But anyways, we'll get into that here in a little bit. But that's kind of, you know, that's kind of where I come from with my aspect of my train of thought on building the channel and what I put on the channel. You know, I kind of cover both sides. Nah, man, I love the variety of prices. Well, that's good, you know. I mean, that's what I try to do, depending on what you can afford. I mean, you know, there's a lot of different people with a lot of different price ranges, so I try to please everybody to an extent, you know. I try to give you a variety. It all depends, you know. My score, a better variety is always good, Dave, and it's your channel and your passion to do what you think is best. Well, that's just it, you know. I kind of base the channel around newbies, you know, or someone that's new getting into computer building. I don't go into the real depth. I mean, I could take you guys into computers to where you wouldn't even understand it for most of you. You know, with my experience, I've got enough experience, I've got enough knowledge about computers to where you guys probably couldn't understand most of what I'm telling you. I'm trying to break it down into layman terms to where you understand it. You know, I try to do a variety of stuff on the channel. I think it's working pretty good. Maybe I'm wrong on that. You know, but you know, I mean, I'll take you guys' advice and opinions into consideration. You know, let me know what you think of what I'm doing here on the channel. I'm more than happy to change up my format or whatever. You know, if I get enough people that's interested in it. I have the B450M DS3H. However, after I exit the BIOS, my computer never reboots. I have to replace the battery on the motherboard. The Cmos battery, I'm assuming, is what you're speaking of. Sounds like a bad motherboard. If you have to replace that battery every time, and if that battery ain't strong enough to hold up to keep your settings, I would say you probably have a bad motherboard. I don't think it's the battery. It's something that within the motherboard, even though the battery's in place, it ain't recognizing the battery or it ain't keeping a charge from the battery. I'm gonna say it's something with the motherboard that's causing that. that's my that's my thinking on it right off the bat. Like I said before, if it's a new motherboard, I would definitely send it back, try to get you a refund on it. Kind of new to the channel. Do you game as well? I actually got a Borderlands 3 walkthrough that I did for the channel. I see. Thank you, sir. You're more than welcome. I hope that helps you out a little bit. Do I game? My biggest game right now is YouTube. As bad as it sounds, YouTube takes up a lot of my free time. I did walk through a Borderlands 3 walkthrough for the channel. I enjoy gaming. I work anywhere from 50 to 70 hours a week on top of the time that I put into YouTube, on top of being I got a girlfriend I love spending time with. Also have a daughter. Technical difficulties. Also have a daughter that I enjoy, that I spend time with from time to time. Not very often because she's older. So I don't have a whole lot of time for gaming like I'd like to have. But hopefully that will change. It's just a time thing. I do enjoy gaming. But, alright, looks like I'm back in focus. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's going on with my camera tonight. Totally understand, love the videos, well thank you, appreciate that. And this thing's telling me I need to restart my camera again for some reason. What is going on with this camera tonight? Flight Simulator 2020 is just amazing. I've never been much into the flight simulators. I know there's been several of them out. I've just never been much of it. If you enjoy the flight simulation. A lot of people's commented on that Flight Simulator 2020 and how good it is and whatnot. But, I've never been much into them type of games. I'm more into the first-person shooter types. Never have to, but this one is actually kind of interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of chat going on about that Flight Simulator. Hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna try something with my camera here. For some reason, it keeps shutting down, and I don't know why. I'm gonna try something here. Technical difficulties. You gotta love live streaming. Nothing like it. Alright, let's see if that fixes the problem this time. Now, of course, my camera's going to be all out of focus. You're going to see my terrible background. And y'all that have subscribed is going to leave me because you see my background. Oh, love live streaming. Let's see how that looks. Well, maybe. Let's see. Sure, it's your motherboard. Handle it. Alright, you guys are talking about the simulator, flight simulator, I believe. FS 2020 is very nice. Camera's going off, Dave. Yeah, I took the battery pack out of it and redone it, which it actually plugs into an outlet That way I don't have to worry about the battery dying. I reseated the battery pack. Hopefully that helps it. And it sounds like my dog's outside the door going crazy. But let's jump back over here, and we'll jump back into the comments here. Where did I leave off at? Okay, here we go. Kickwick, I guess is the way you pronounce that. C-I-W-I-K, 6 days ago. He says, nice. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the live stream of episode 46. Let's see here. We have iGunner for you smile 4 days ago. How to update the BIOS. My old dude, and how can I install the drivers? I have the same board, but ain't sure if I just download the latest version and install, would it be needed? Actually, if you look on the channel, I actually use that particular motherboard for how to install your motherboard drivers. Let's see here, videos. It's been a while ago. We'll figure it out here. But if you search the channel, there is a how to install motherboard drivers, which will walk you through the process of doing so. It's been a while ago. There we go. Oh, excuse me, guys. Here's the link to that video. Showing you how to install your motherboard drivers, which I actually used that motherboard driver. I actually used that motherboard when I did that one. So that should pretty well walk you through the process of doing it. I'll also type back to all these questions, so I'll also send the link back in the comment form. Let's see, who else do we have? We have Arthur Apollo, I guess the way you pronounce that. How to overclock your RAM. I got G-Skills Titan 16 gigs to 3200 megahertz. I'm assuming you're running 32 gigs. Kit that was working just fine, XMP on. It booted and everything was perfect. Turned it off and for the night, and now it doesn't want to post anymore. RAM lights up, CPU cooled to GPU, but no signal. Keyboard and mouse don't turn on, and it sits there without posting. Would that fix my issue? Mainly inserting the frequencies, etc. Also, how can I reset the Cmos? If you have that particular motherboard, to actually reset that Cmos, you'd power the computer system completely down, unplug your power cord, pull out your Cmos battery, which is the silver battery that's connected to the motherboard. It's the only battery on the motherboard. Pull it out, keep hitting your power button a few times to get all the extra power out of the capacitors and whatnot. Put your Cmos battery back in, plug it back in. That should put your Cmos or your BIOS back to factory settings. So that'd be the way to reset your BIOS. And I would say that overclock, for some reason, I don't know why, with XMP on, it worked fine, and then all of a sudden it started not working. I'm going to say it's going to be a RAM overclocking issue. For some reason, your motherboard or the BIOS decided it don't like the overclock profile of the 3200 megahertz RAM. So yeah, I try to down the frequency a little bit and keep the same frequency that XMP gave you. Is AMD going to change sockets next year? I want to say yes on that. I believe AM4 is going to be a dead socket after this year, just for the simple fact that they, AMD said they were going to support the same socket up to this year. Next year, I have no inside contacts on this, but I believe they're going to go to an AM5 platform with probably DDR5 memory, I'm going to say. Just off the top of my head, I believe after this year they will be changing the socket type. I mean, you've had sockets from 2017 all the way up to now. That's 3 or 4 years of compatibility. I believe they will be going to a newer socket. Would you recommend using a anti-static basic for building a PC? That kind of depends on the region that you're in. Anti-static, it's never a bad thing to have that. A lot of my builds, I say I have the case or the power supply or something handy, just keep reaching over and touching it every once in a while to get the static shock out of you. Once you get your CPU and your RAM prepped, pretty well the anti-static stuff kind of goes to the side after that point. Like if you live in Arizona or someplace where you're real high, where your climate's real dry, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have an anti-static strap. But it all depends on your climate. Where I live, we don't have that high of a, we don't really worry about static. If you rub your feet across the carpet and you touch your doorknob and you get shocked, it wouldn't be a bad idea to wear something. I think anti-static is one of them things that's a kind of a passing. And the main reason why that came about was when they insert the parts into the motherboard, or the capacitors into the motherboards. As far as an everyday builder, I work on carpet. I wear socks. I wear some kind of, you probably noticed in some of my videos, I got minion pants on. I wear some kind of relaxed pants that builds up a bunch of static. I live in West Virginia, so it ain't a real dry climate, but I've never had a problem with anti-static. Like I said, it wouldn't be a bad idea to wear it just to help protect yourself. But as long as you're touching something metal frequently or some kind of solid mass frequently, I don't think anti-static is going to be a big deal to you. It's one of the things that's on the back burner anymore. Yeah, you need a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, Swiss Army knife would come in pretty handy, actually. When Zen 4 comes out, the B550 or the X570 support Zen 4. I think Zen 4 will be compatible with the B550 and the X570s. But if you're looking at anything beyond Zen 4, you're looking at the Zen 5 series, I think that's when they're going to change it. Because they got the 5000 series coming out, which is going to be the Zen 4. I know, it's a hell of a naming scheme thing. but I think you'll be all right with Zen 4. But when you get beyond that point, you know, because 5000 series coming out, there's going to be AM4 compatible. Anything beyond that ain't going to be compatible with the motherboards anymore. Alright, thanks Dave. Well, you're welcome. That's kind of my thought on the anti-static stuff. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home, country roads. Exactly. No place like West Virginia, boys, I'm telling you. It was The Verge I found it. Zen 3, Dave, have you the Verge PC build guide video? Yeah, I seen that, and it's a joke. I'm not going to give them the time or the effort to set through their ads to let them have a few cents for me to enjoy that video. I've seen a lot of reaction videos on it and whatnot. I haven't actually watched the video itself because it was taken down by the time I heard about it. But I've watched a lot of the reaction videos. I kind of see where the people are coming from on it, and it was definitely a joke. I think The Verge needs to, how should I say this? I say it politely. They should go back and review the videos before they make them public. And I'll leave that one at that. Not Zen 4. Thank you. I've never used anti-static strap. Problem I've tried once and it was uncomfortable. Anti-static straps, they can be uncomfortable at times, yes. They can be uncomfortable. Like I said, you know, as long as you keep something massive, the metal around you, you know, like a case for, and it don't have to be plugged into the wall. You know, you could reach over and touch your doorknob to get the anti-static off of you. But once you get the main components onto the motherboard, you'll be fine with the anti-static stuff. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River, life is old there. Older than the trees, younger than the mountain, blowing like a breeze. Yep, that's West Virginia for you. What is up with these guys? Oh, he just enjoys West Virginia theme song, I'm assuming. Let's jump back over and get back in these comments, guys. What do we got here? Let's see. We got Jimmy BIH. How to update the ASRock motherboard BIOS. Greg Paul. Don't know what that means, but okay. We got Matt McCone, entry level 600, 1080p gaming system, which is my latest one. Thanks, Dave. Helps a lot. No, you're welcome. I'm glad I could help you out on that one. And this next one here, if you actually want to read through all this, you may want to go read the comments on this. We got David Nookham. And this was on my latest video, the 600 1080p gaming computer port list for 2020, late 2020. Why the 1650 instead of the RX 570 and the ADM card is faster and cheaper. There's actually a little bit of a conversation going on about this one. Yeah, Greg Paul. Yeah, it's a question mark to me too. I don't understand what that means. But whatever. John Dever, Take Me Home, Country Roads. Oh, excuse me. Yep, that should be the theme song for West Virginia pretty much. But as far as David Luckham, I guess. That last video that I put out, I picked the 1650 over the RX57. He says AMD cord is faster and cheaper. I mentioned in that video about the RX570, and it is a little bit faster in most titles. There is some titles and it's NVIDIA bound that does better on NVIDIA cards than AMD cards. Not many. The RX570 usually is a faster cord. But why I went with the 1650 instead of the 570, he says it's cheaper. I don't know which region he lives in, if he's in the US or where he lives at. But the card I showed in that video is $160 for the 1650. This ain't the Super, it ain't nothing like that. It is an OC 4 gig cord for 160 bucks. You look at the 474 gigs, you have two options here that's even close to that price. You have the Asus ROG Strix and the ASRock Phantom. But you do anything else rather than that, you're looking at over $200 for that graphics card. And this is on Newegg. I pulled it up on Amazon. Of course, Amazon's search features, you know, right there, showing results for the RX 574 gig GPU. It's showing me hard drives. It's showing me memory. It's showing me motherboards. There's some more memory. There's me a Ryzen 2600 processor. There is a Western Digital NVMe drive. And this is all under RX 574 gig cards. If you go on eBay, you can, here in the US at least, you can get some RX 570s comparable to, if you can win them at the price under the 160. But even some of these is going for $275, which is outrageous. You know, $99. Someone actually came back in the comments and said, you know, they just got one for $100, which seems to be a pretty good price compared to what some of these are going for. You know, they're going for $110, which is used, you know, so you ain't getting the warranty behind it. You know, there's one, buy it now for $130. You know, some of these you gotta look at, okay, it's $89.89 right now, but you're looking, you know, you're looking at $15 shipping. So what are you actually saving by going with a used graphics card that you don't know how it's been abused or not? You know, so it's, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's why I went with the 1650 in that build. Just because of the pricing, which I actually mentioned in that video. You know, if you got a little bit more money to spend, I'd go with the RX 570. But, you know, to buy new parts, unless you are a major Asus fan, which I do like Asus products, don't get me wrong, but if you want anything besides Asus, you're paying well over the $160 price tag that the Gigabyte 1650 is for. And if you go into Newegg here, type in 1650, okay, and there is some cheaper models than the one that I actually picked. You know, I mean, you're looking at 169, 159, 179. You know, there's different models at different prices. But as far as the RX 570, as of right now, and even when I did that video, the RX 570 is a good competitor to the 1650, but you're going to pay a little bit more, so it put me over the $600 budget. That is exactly why I didn't recommend the RX 570, just because of the price point of it. Which he says cheaper, but it really, here in the US at least, it ain't. Let's see, did I miss anything else? John Denver, take me home. I got my RX 570 last year. That ain't too bad of a price for an RX 580. 109 euros, that ain't too bad. That's pretty good. It was on eBay, I bid for it. Not a bid price. Yeah, it was a happy bunny. Yeah, it was, that ain't bad. Whenever the mining craver crashed, the RX 580s, I picked mine up for less than $100. for the RX 588 gig. But like I said, that was when the mining craze crashed. So to pick up an RX 580 nowadays for that kind of price, that's pretty good. That's pretty good savings. That ain't too bad. And if it wasn't for me wanting to get into streaming, which I haven't, I'd still be using the RX 580. I wouldn't need to have spent the money on the 2070 Super. So that's 140 USD. Yeah, that's probably about $140 USD on that one at 109 euros. Something like that. Alright, what was that? Okay, 1650 instead of the RX 57. Wally Alishus. I guess the way you pronounce that. I don't know, that's the way I'm pronouncing it. Solly Wally, if you're in chat and I'm butchering your name, I apologize. Nice selection here. I'm assuming it's supposed to have an S. Should be selections. They have a very well done video as always. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment. Is it a bad deal? It's on pounds. Pounds are 1.1 euro to $1.29 US. You pay 109 for it. Well, let's see what the euro is going for compared to the pound, compared to US. The USD. I guess that top one would be alright. Yeah, no, that's a bullshit one. Let's try, let's knock the R off of there. To USA. To USA. To the USD. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. 109 rents dollars country. Well, what the hell? Where's my conversion chart at? Okay, 109 pounds equals about $140 US. $140 for an RX 588 gig ain't, to me, it ain't too bad of a deal. Not too bad. 140, you know, whenever the mining craze stopped, you know, I picked up my RX 580 for less than $100. That was that was a couple years ago when the mining craze stopped. They're back up in prices for the performance. As long as it's an 8 gig card, I don't think that's too bad of a deal right now. I bought it over a year ago. Radeon Sapphire 4 gig variant, or pounds, not euros. This is R is still there. That's why you put an R in front of the search. Okay, so we'll put an R in front of it. Sorry guys, I ain't too familiar with changing it over to the African or Brazilian. Currency conversion rate. OpenGL for beginners, I don't believe so. I ain't putting all this shit in. Convert. Give me my answer. Would you give me my answer? 109 Brazilian equals 1930? That don't sound right. That can't even be close. No, David. I went over at the start before. That's why it didn't work. You're completely fine before you had or then it was a rate is 140. Yes, you fixed it though, Dave, so it's all good. 140 for an RX 580 8 gig card. It's comparable with today's prices, especially with the way the used market's going. Like I said, if it wasn't for the channel and wanting to get into streaming, I'd still be running the RX 580 because it does everything I want it to do. If you're looking at 1080p gaming, the RX 580 is fine for that. Let's see here. So we got Maxter 1878. And on my entry level $600 1080p gaming build. Be interesting to see the benchmarks when you build it. Nice build. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Glad you're in chat today. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some benchmarking on it once they get it built. It may be a little while, but I plan on getting that one built. I like to try to start like a monthly series or something like that, which I'll go into here in a little bit. But I like to try to start a monthly build, you know, where I part out a list and then actually get one built. But we'll see how that works out as well. I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I don't know what happened there, but I walked away. Apparently my camera went back out. Oh, does it look alright? Am I back in focus now? Please turn off camera and then what is going on with this thing tonight? What is going on? Alright, there we go. There we go, I'm looking alright. What's going on? You fixed it, though, Dave, so it's all good. Dave has left. He will never return. Nah, I'll be back. Don't give up on me. I'll be back. Your camera seems to be overheating. Well, that's a good possibility. It may be overheating, but I don't understand why, because I haven't used it a whole lot tonight. Why is my camera overheating? Huh. And there we go again. Alright guys, well, maybe you won't get to see my lovely face tonight because something's going on here. I don't know if it's overheating or, I don't know, maybe I ought to turn on the AC and point it right to it, maybe. Maybe that'll cool it down. We'll pull Jay's 2 cents here and add AC cooling to the camera. He likes to send the AC straight to the computer components. Maybe I ought to do that to my camera. I guess that's the problem without having a whole lot of time to work with your equipment, so you don't really know your equipment. Well, let's see how that works for a while. How you like the checkerboard on the screen? I'm not really too sure on how I can fix that for the night. If it gets too bad, it keeps doing this, guys, I'll shut off the webcam and you guys just won't get to see my pretty face. Let's go back to the comments here. What have we got? Interested in seeing the benchmarks when you get it built. I done answered that one. Thank you, Mascara 1878. I got the 1650 for $100. Awesome video, Dave. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. The 1650 for $100. You know, that's a pretty good deal, which I just showed you on eBay. You know, well, actually, I think I showed you the RX 5570s. But the 1650, if you can get that for $100, that's a pretty good deal. I'd take that all day long if I could grab one, but I'm going to have to buy a new one. Have I ever traveled abroad? Well, that's kind of interesting. Here we go. I'm going to go out on a side story here. I don't have a passport. Whenever I started driving trucks, the guy that was training me to drive a truck, we had a load going into Canada. Because of my history, they wouldn't let me go into Canada, let alone any place else. So, no, I've never traveled abroad. I've never left the U.S. The guy that actually trained me to drive a truck had to actually put me up in a hotel for 4 days while he went into Canada, made the delivery, picked up the next load, came back into the U.S. to pick me up. If you haven't seen my background, you know, I got a little bit of a violent history to me. So I've never tried for a passport, but even Canada won't even let me in. You know, they at the border they told me they didn't need me beating up on the good citizens. Well, you know, my answer, being as smart ass as I am, and I tell them not to piss me off. That simple. But they didn't like that answer too well, so I ended up in a hotel for 4 or 5 days while he went in, made the delivery and the pickup, and came back out to get me. I hope you can one day. Don't lose hope. Yeah, I've turned my life around. I've been fairly good for the last 15 years or so. So I may be able to travel abroad someday, but you know, as of right now, I'm kind of stuck in the U.S., which I'm fine with. You know, I live in Turkey near the border of Georgia. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I've never been out of the U.S. You know, like I said, you know, I haven't even been able to make it into Canada. They won't let me. Tell me they don't need me beating up on the good citizens. So, you know, it is what it is. But maybe someday, maybe I'll make it out of the U.S. Let's see here. What else do we got here? The 1650 for 100. Yep, that's a very good price. I don't think you get 1650 on eBay for $100 right now. I actually looked at them because I was looking to buy new ones or buy a used one. I mean, you're looking at 170, 160, 155, 129 plus $10 shipping. I mean, if I want to pay them kind of prices, I might as well buy a new one. There's 125 buy it now with $10 shipping charge. I might as well buy a new and get the warranty on it. That, you know, yeah, so $100 for a 1650 is a pretty good deal. Let's see, we have Jonathan Hand. How to overclock your RAM. For some reason, my memory settings list is way shorter and doesn't look like that. Everything else is the same though. Still can't figure it out. It could be the BIOS that you're running, would be my best guess on that. I've actually ripped that system apart this morning and put all the parts back in the boxes. So I'm not too sure on that. I can't even boot that system up. I have to rebuild the system to see what's going on with that. Sorry, I can't be much help with that. But the memory settings list is way shorter. I'm assuming they won't let them go up to 32 gigs like mine did in the video. Which I've heard that from a lot of comments that, you know, the gigabyte motherboard won't let them do more than 2 gigs of VRAM. And I don't know why it's doing that. I really couldn't. Last time I had mine booted up in the BIOS, it still let me have up to 32 gigs or beyond of VRAM, even though I was only running a 16 gig kit. So yeah, Turkey is great for a massacre. There's many British coming to the Turkey area, especially in Mediterranean seaside. Yeah, I heard that Turkey was pretty good country over there. But it's nice for the scenery and whatnot. I haven't did a whole lot of research on Turkey, but it seems like what I know of it seems like it'd be a pretty nice place. Let's see here, we have Alex Braxton, I guess the way you pronounce it, Alex, ALXXBRINK, Alex Braxton. How to overclock your Ryzen 5 3600 on the Asus motherboard. Hey Dave, I've seen you had 1.1 volts. Is that good? 1.14 volt, 1.1. Oh, hold on a second, guys. I don't want to get copyrighted by my own video here. What the hell is going on here? Come on, skip the ad already. That's enough of that. Let's see here. We're getting the motherboard section here. We're getting the skip the ads. Which I'll get into that here in a little bit too about the ads. What's he talking about 1.1 volts? As I set the volts to 1.35 volts. English, yeah. Shut up, Dave. Get to the video already. Let's see here, folks. Yeah, we're doing that part of it. Yeah. Go on down to the voltage. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to disable all that stuff. Of course we're going to disable that. We don't want the motherboard controlling our overclock. We want to control our overclock. Alright, now, he said I showed 1.1 volts. I got 1.312 volts, and I jacked it up to 1.35 volts. The VDD-CR voltage, I left the same, which some people said you can go up to 1.1 volts, which I left it the same. I'm not too sure on where he sees 1.1 volts. I went up to 1.35 volts, not 1.1 volts. And that says 1.025 volts, which I left alone. I'm sorry, guy, but I'm not too sure on where you're seeing 1.1 volts at. I don't know. Any of you in chat see where I set 1.1 volts on anything? I didn't see nothing in that video of 1.1 volts. Which I'll type back to him, tell him that I didn't see where I seen 1.1 volts, but I don't know what he's really talking about on that one. We have Skinner Swim. How to install the RGB. I have basically the same. I have 5 ARGB fans, 3 ARGB strips. I also have 2 splitters, 1 to 5 and 1 to 3. Can I link these all together and run them off of one ARGB header on the motherboard, or will I need an ARGB fan hub? Thank you. Well, you got 5 ARGB fans and 3 strip headers. So he needs 5 connections. You got 2 splitters, which is 1 to 5 and 1 to 3. You should be alright to run all of them off the same ARGB header on the motherboard. 1 to 5 and 1 to 3. I mean, as long as you have the, because you need 8 ARGB connectors. As long as you have the 8 ARGB connectors, you should be fine, which it sounds like you got. You should be alright. I don't see why you should have to get an ARGB header or anything like that. I think one header on your motherboard will be fine. I believe you will be fine with the 5 fan. As long as you're looking just to run the ARGB. If you want something to control all your fans together, you'll need to get a fan hub. But rather than that, you know, if you're just running the ARGBs off of it, you should be alright with that setup. I don't see why you'd need to do anything else. Let's see here. We got bioacid. I guess the way you pronounce that. How to overclock your RAM. My RAM is stock at 2400, but it says I can level to 3000. I have to do it manually like you thought. My question is, should I use the same numbers as you, or will they be different as the 16, 16, 16, 18, and 32 numbers? Apparently came back a little bit later. I can change my frequency, but don't have any option to change the voltage. You're on a 3000 kit. I would go into the BIOS and set the XMP profile and see what numbers they would recommend as far as your timings go. And that's what I would stick with as far as timings, or at least start out there. And then if they ain't stable, maybe cut them back some. That'd be my best bet. You know, I'd go with what the profile's got set, and then cut them back from that point. Like I say, you know, I've said this many times in my videos before, even though your XMP don't work, if you put in them numbers, a lot of times they do work. Which ain't guaranteed, you know, it don't always happen that way, but a lot of times they will. That gives you a good starting point. Thanks, Mascar. There are many. Hey, Dave, I bought that GT 740 and I was wondering if there's a big difference between the 1080p and 720p. Either would be a big upgrade over my 1 gig laptop cord. Anytime you go from 1 gig to 2 gigs, you're going to see a big improvement over that. Depending on what your video card is within the 1 gig laptop, if you go from 1 gig to 2 gigs, you're going to see a pretty big difference in that performance. I didn't realize you was going from a laptop to desktop. Which your laptop's running a 480p. You're running the 3870 random. Yeah. The 7830 Radeon graphics. Well, let me show you a little secret here. You said you getting a what? What card did you get for a bargain? Something like that. You're going from the 7830 maybe to the 7730. Video cards benchmarks. If you go here to, well, video cards, you got one. Of course, video cards, you got one. Why wouldn't video cards have one? What was the name? Right there it is. The user benchmark. If you go to this website and you put in what you're going from and to, they give a pretty good, I mean, this ain't a tell-all thing. You know, there's going to be some variance in any website that you go to. But this website here, that's user's benchmark, they give you pretty good information on the difference between GPUs. They're saying you're going up to plus 289%. I mean, you're looking at that's pretty good. That is pretty good improvement over what your laptop's giving you. Because you're going from a laptop to a desktop, so it's going to be pretty good. As far as, you know, running 720p to 1080, my best bet would be, you know, try games in both settings. You know, it's kind of hard to, especially when you're looking from laptop to desktop, which they are completely two different beasts. But you know, I mean, you're looking at user benchmark, which I use quite a bit when I look at GPUs. You know, you're looking at 289% uplift. You know, the overclock score is up by 287. Like I said, you're going from a laptop to a desktop, you can expect big gains. And it all depends on the titles that you play. I mean, it's pretty big, massive gains when you go from a laptop to a desktop. You know, even if you get a laptop that's got they say there's 1080 Ti GPU in it, and you get a desktop 1080 Ti, it's going to be pretty big gains. You know, I don't think you went wrong with that purchase, because you said you paid like what, $20 for it or $30 for it. You're going from a desktop to a desktop. You know, it's pretty significant increase. Mainly CS:GO and Rainbow Six Siege. But I can see how there would be a big gains. Yeah, you're definitely looking at big gains going from a iGPU from a laptop to a dedicated graphics card. There's going to be massive gains there for you. Yes, I paid 25-ish. Yeah, you definitely didn't go wrong with that purchase. I mean, the gains that you're going to see from it is going to be massive. I mean, you know, you're looking at, depending on the resolution you're painting at too. You know, I mean, you're looking at an RX or R9 270X compared to integrated graphics. You're looking at a pretty good uplift there. If you're looking to hit 60 frames per second in CS:GO or something like that, I think you could probably hit it, or at least get close to it with max settings. Yeah, I mean, you've already spent the money, you've done bought it, you know. I'd run it and see how the performance is for you. Yeah, but I think you got a pretty good deal there. That's what a lot of people don't realize. You know, when you go from a laptop to a dedicated GPU and a desktop, there is a big difference that happens. And I don't, you know, a lot of people don't understand that, but the GPUs or the iGPUs in a laptop ain't even close to what you can get out of a dedicated graphics card. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the questions, comments, and concerns that's in the comments for this week. I don't see nothing new came in. I just refreshed the page, and I don't see anything. Just prove to y'all, we will refresh. And yeah, one day ago was the last time we had a comment. I think I covered them pretty good. Alright, man, I hope to complete the build this week. I hope you complete that build too. Seems like you're pretty well on a tight budget on that one. With the Ryzen 5 2400. Yeah, that ain't too bad of a CPU to be pairing with that graphics. Depending on where you live, I mean, I don't know if you're building it for personal use or if you're building it to resell it. And of course, you'd have to look at the benchmarks for that graphics card. But I'm going to say it's going to be more aimed for the 720p market than the 1080p market. Oh, it's for personal use. Okay, well, if it's for personal use, you know, I think you're going to see big gains on that. That 2400 that's pretty good pairing for that graphics card. Compared to what you had inside that laptop, you should be doing alright. I don't see why not. But it looks like all the comments and questions for this past week's videos has been answered. Y'all have anything else to pronounce? Yeah, throw it over there in the chat box over there, and I'll be happy to kind of answer them the best that I can. As far as my camera overheating and doing its funky little thing, I don't know why it's been acting up today. I ain't running off of a memory card. I got it actually hooked up into my Elgato capture card. I've actually got it plugged into a power supply that plugs into the wall that consistently gives it power. I don't know why it would be overheating. If you guys ain't following me on Instagram or Twitter, I got a case back here that came in this past week. Let me see if I can get you a little bit more of a close-up of it. The Master Box Q MB311 ARGB came in this week, which is part of that $600 build I put out this week. I'm going to be doing an unboxing overview of that case this week somehow, some way. I'm going to get her done. That'll be the video for this week. Light gaming for the most part. Yeah, CSGO ain't too bad to run. Rainbow Six Siege shouldn't be too bad to run. I think it'll be alright. And like I said, it's going to be a massive uplift from that laptop you've been running on. I'm pretty much good on all the questions, but you've helped me a lot. Thanks for all the answers and the help. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad I could help you. You know, without actually looking up that graphics card, it'd be kind of hard to give you, you know, exactly what kind of performance you could expect out of them graphics card. I try to help everybody that I can. But you're more than welcome. I'm glad I could help you out as much as I've been able to help you out. But that case is going to be this week's video coming up. We're going to be doing an unboxing overview of it. If you've watched the last video I put up, the $600 build, that is part of the build. That's one of the parts that I ordered for the system. As far as the build goes itself, if you didn't notice, if you watched my other $900 build, the RAM, I'm pulling out of the $900 system to use. I'm going to pull the SSD out of the $900 system that I build, which is the same SSD that I recommended for that $600 build. I'm going to pull the power supply out of that build to use because I have it on hand instead of having to pay for another power supply. But I'm going to recommend the 450 watt. You know, I'm just trying to get these builds done and be able to recommend parts for you guys at different budgets and not cost me an arm and a leg to do. You know, all this stuff comes out of pocket. You know, it ain't the cheapest. You know, I paid $900 for that last build that I did. This one's a $600 build. You know, this is shaving $300 to $400 off by reusing them 3 parts out of this build. I hope you guys understand. I'm not trying to be cheap on the build. I'm not trying to order all new parts. But I'm also just trying to utilize what I've already paid for to help build the channel and to get the channel up to where I expect it to be or where I want it to be. I hope I don't disappoint any of you. You know, I'm just doing the best I can with what I've got. And I know it's a pretty common thing here on YouTube. You know, I got the parts available. Why am I going to spend the extra $200 on parts that I've already got? And they're good quality components for a decent price. So yeah, there is that. But that's going to be this week's video. Like I said, I'm going to get that done. I'm going to be doing the unboxing and overview of that case behind me. As far as the channel goes, as far as the community goes, we've grown quite a bit this week. What do we have this week? Hold on, let me get it pulled up here. Subscriber count for the past week. All right, we've grown by 29 subscribers this week, which ain't bad. It's pretty good. Yes. Last weekend I was able to hit we was able to hit the 1,000 subscriber mark last week, which was a big milestone in my book. You know, I never imagined 1,000 people being interested in what I had to say. But we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. We've gained 29 subscribers in the last week, which is pretty good for a channel of this size and the kind of videos I put out, I think. I want to thank y'all for the ones that watch the videos, the ones that comment, the ones that like to share the videos and all that good happy stuff. I really appreciate it. Congrats. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The community's grown pretty good. If you did notice, you know, we are starting to get some interaction between the community, you know, trying to help each other out and whatnot, which I enjoy seeing. You know, I am a very caring person. You know, I kind of, what am I trying to say? You know, I try to help everybody as much as I can. And it kind of makes me happy and makes me glad to see that other people are doing the same within the community. You know, it's the kind of community I'm trying to build, is the kind of people that trying to help each other. You know, if you got an idea or an opinion or whatever that could possibly answer somebody else's question, don't be afraid to jump in them comments and answer them for them. You know, which I do the same thing. You know, that's why I do this live show, to answer the comments and questions. I also go back and type to them. You know, but I like to also build a community around that, helping, where everybody's willing to help each other. You know, I really appreciate that. I like that. You know, I like seeing everybody trying to help each other out. It's grown quite a lot. Yes, it has. The community has grown quite a bit. Good job on your 1,000 subscribers. Well, thank you. Appreciate that one. Well, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that comment. And I do put a lot of passion into this. You know, I just ain't, you know, I don't want to be like the rest of the YouTubers. You know, a lot of them seem to veer away from the audience. I want to be focused on the audience, or focused on the members of the community. You know, I don't care if I ever hit 1 million subscribers. I really don't. My big thing is to help as many people as I can, as I possibly can. You know, my videos is a little bit off the cuff. I don't use scripts. You know, I don't script my stuff out. You know, basically that's what YouTube was born on. You know, the individual making videos and throwing them up. So I don't do scripts. You know, which leads to a lot of video, the editing time. But, you know, I think a lot of people enjoy that more than, you know, if you want to watch a TV show, there's a TV program over there you can go watch. You know, I'm not a TV program. And mine's more kind of off the cuff, kind of laid back, kind of relaxed atmosphere. You know, my videos is basically focused to the point I'm trying to get across, trying to teach you. You know, this live show that I do is kind of laid back. You know, hey, let's come hang out. That's why I came up with the name of it. You know, hang out with me. You know, you want to drink a cold beer or whatever, maybe a cup of coffee, depending on where you live, what time of the day it is. And just hang out. Let's talk tech. And if you want to get to know me a little bit on a personal basis, you know, don't be afraid to throw them over there in chat or in the comments. You know, I try not to go too much into my personal life. But, you know, if it ain't too absurd, you know, maybe I will. But the community's grown pretty good. I'm looking for more people that's willing to help each other, that has some knowledge. You know, which the newbies is always welcomed. You know, it's basically what the channel is built around, is the new guys coming into PC building. And, you know, whenever I started into PCs, I wish someone out there was willing to give the information I'm willing to give. Of course, back then it was a lot harder than it is today. Pretty well today is plug and play. Back then it was more complicated, you know, like the one guy said about the BIOS. He thought it was rocket science. It really ain't rocket science today. Back in the 80s, it was rocket science. You know, today is so much simpler and so much easier. You know, but that's kind of why I built the channel, was to help as many people as I can help. Let's see here, Neil 000, can you still reply to everyone, or are you already too famous? Yeah, that's a good one, buddy. I still reply to everybody. I still reply to every comment. It may not be exactly the question, you know, it may not exactly be the answer that you're looking for, but I do reply to every comment. Like last week's video, I didn't get to reply to actually typing back to the comments until, hell, I think it was this morning. Maybe yesterday morning. It was either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday morning. I think it was Friday morning that I was actually able to sit down and actually type back to everybody. That ain't because the channel has grown that big. It's because of personal life. Yeah, because of the job, the wanting to spend time with family. You know, you gotta have that balance in life. I'm looking to do this full time, which will come in time. I'm not pushing nobody, you know, I'm looking to do this in time. You know, but I'm looking to do this full time to where I can put up 3 or 4 videos a week. You know, still have time with the family and not have to put in that 50, 60 hour work week. But, you know, it is what it is. He's known all over the world. Yeah, well, you look at analytics here. We look at the audience. Here, I'll flip you guys over so you can actually see where this is all coming into play yet. Hold on a second here. Let me get you flipped over here. Here is actually my YouTube analytics. Most of my views come from the United States, Philippines, India, Canada. Yeah, imagine that. I thought Canada was Canada. Brazil, United Kingdom, Mexico, Portland, Germany, Italy, in Somalia, Romania, Spain, Turkey, Australia, Greece. And some of my videos do hit all around the world. I don't know about being known in all of the world. But, you know, my reach is out there pretty good, thanks to YouTube, that is. That's the best answer you could give, thanks. Yeah. Shoot. He really is. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a straight shooter. I shoot straight from the hip. You know, it's, if you watched my video on how I got started and all that, you know, I actually started a YouTube channel to try to make a little bit of profit, while my wife was sick. But, you know, as I started doing it, it kind of changed. You know, I enjoy the video editing process. I enjoy being on video. And like I've said before, and I've said in that video, that I'm a big-hearted man. You know, I care about people. Most people don't care about me, but I care about them. You know, I want to help as many people as I can, regardless of my past, regardless of what I've been through. I just want to help people. And, you know, my channel is based around noobs. You know, and if I can help you guys do overclock that CPU a little bit better, if I can help you overclock your RAM, get a little bit better performance out of your system, if I can tell you how to fix your system to get it to reboot, whatever. And I know I can't please everybody. I know this up front. You know, and that's the kind of community I'm trying to build, is the people that's willing to help each other. You know, it don't matter what your knowledge is. You know, it don't matter what your background is. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. And my big thing is, if you know something, you can answer someone's questions, you're willing to jump in and answer it. You know, and I've already got a little over 1,000 people that subscribe to my channel, that watches my videos. You know, I'm getting over 30,000 a month in video views. You know, if you guys can help out by any way, by any situation, by answering the questions that they have, which you see me in the comments, you know, if that ain't a big, long, drawn-out conversation, you know, I give you thanks. I give you praise for it. You know, that's what I'm trying to build here. You know, a lot of channels, they kind of veer away from that as they get bigger. And I hope not to do that. I hope to kind of, you know, I mean, I like to build a community big enough to where I could do it full time, but not get so big to where I kind of lose the personal connection. You know, to me, that personal connection, that helping each other is where the community survives. You know, it's where it thrives, I guess is the best way to say it. But anyways, hopefully next week I'll be back in my regular time. Like I said earlier, you know, this week it was like Tuesday or Wednesday of the week when my boss asked me to come in and work today. So I was expecting to do this at 11 a.m. instead of 5 p.m. Hopefully by next week I'll be back in my 11 a.m. regular schedule, like I know a lot of people like. Some people don't like it too well, but a lot of people like it when I'm able to do this at 11 a.m. Depending on where you're at, where you're from, and whatnot. I understand that. I can't make everybody happy. I hope you all understand that. I do the best I can. I do this when it's best, more convenient for me. Because I know there ain't going to be a whole lot of you that I can actually please. You know, I mean, it's a big world, a lot of different time zones, a lot of different stuff going on in everybody's life. I understand that. But I try my best. And my best is when it's most convenient for me. But anyways, that unboxing and overview of the, what the hell is the name of that case anyways? I don't even know what the name of that case is. I know it's a Cooler Master MB311L ARGB case. That'll be the one coming up this week. I'm hoping to have it done by Wednesday by noon, like normal. I know this last week's video was a little bit late, but I try to get them up by noon on Wednesday, possibly, hopefully. I know this week it was Thursday, I think, at noon when it went live. But if there ain't no other questions, comments, or concerns to put over there in chat for me to answer for the day, I think I'm going to get out of here for the day. I think I've had me about 4 beers on top of the other 4 that I done had since I got off work at 2:30 this afternoon. I think I'm going to wrap it up for today's live show. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you go down there and give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. Either way, makes YouTube happy, which makes me happy. There's a comment section below. You know, I'll go through them next weekend on my live show, just like I did today. I'll answer them the best that I possibly can. And if you really like this kind of content, and I haven't pissed you off yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. you turn that notification bell where you know next time I put out a video or I go live here on YouTube. And also, if you'd like to, there's Instagram and Twitter. They're both linked in the description below. You know, I don't kill your inbox, but I do put up video photos of stuff that's came in that, you know, give you an idea of what's coming up on the channel or whatnot. Also, if, like this week, I had to change the time of the live stream. I put up on Instagram and Twitter as soon as I could that the times was changing, you know. But rather than that, really don't kill your inbox too much. But with all that being said, you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you in the next video or live stream.